Hey guys, so it's finally time for another review of a Vampire Diaries episode, right? Because it's been like 3 long weeks since we had a new episode. So this episode was all about the prom, but like we know, dances in Mystic Falls don't usually end so well. So this one was really no different, although there was a lot of crazy stuff happening, and a lot of the bad stuff in this episode was like emotional stuff, which is still just as hard, really. So right off the bat, let's talk about Stelena and Delena, people. I'm just gonna go ahead and out myself right now and tell all of you viewers that I am a Stelena fan for life. Okay, that is just the way it is. I won't apologize for that. You know, I love Stefan Salvatore and I believe in Stelena, right? But I get the Delena thing. You know, I'm not like ultimately like completely against Delena because I get it. You know, I get the appeal of Damon. I totally do. But Stelena forever, people. And this episode, you know, made my little Stelena heart like happy for sure. And it hasn't been happy for a while. And all you Delena people have been gloating. But now it's time for payback. Just kidding. I feel your pain, Delena people. I feel your pain. Now, Elena is in, you guys, full-on biatch mode. I mean, she was so freaking evil last night. I mean, it was just like, I wanted to kill her several times. I mean, she was just in full-on mode. Now, that to me feels like a sign that she's really headed towards kind of turning her humanity back on. You know, there were definitely signs of that tonight. Glimpses of her humanity. So Elena did so many evil things, you guys. When she stole Caroline's prom dress, I was just seriously like, she stole Caroline's prom dress. That is like, you know, 10 times more, you know, like dastardly because it's Caroline, because we all know how much prom means to Caroline. So I just felt so bad for Caroline, but she recovered, right? Caroline did, because she goes to Klaus and gets him to kind of dig into the family like history closet and pull her out a like gorgeous dress. So that was kind of cool. Now, the boys kind of decide to be a little more covert in their kind of operation because, remember in the last episode, Elena, like, snapped that waitress's neck and was just basically like, stop looking for the cure, I'm gonna kill people. So the boys, it seems like, have honored that, but at the same time, you get that they haven't stopped plotting. And so, they are both her dates to the prom. So this was the moment when it was like, Stelena fans and Delena fans, you both win, right? Because she's got 2 prom dates, and they both had tuxedos on, and they both looked really handsome, so that was kind of funny. Now, they both had their own kind of moment with her at the dance. You know, Damon tried to be like, I'm your boyfriend, and you told me that you loved me type of thing. And Elena really tells him, like, look, the only reason I told you that I loved you is because I was under the sire bond. And in a really kind of just awful, emotionless kind of way, which, hello, emotionless Elena, she tells him basically that she feels nothing for him. And I felt really bad, you know, for Damon. And even though I am a Stelena fan, which I talked about earlier, you know, it's like, I don't want him to be hurt. And that's part of my issue with what's been happening with Damon and Elena this season. You know, like, I know Delena fans were like over the moon, there was lots of kissing and sex and all kinds of stuff like that. But at the same time, it was like always the question of whether or not it was real. And part of me just felt like the whole time it wasn't. Like, it was just kind of fake. And I hated that for him. Like, for me, I felt like, okay, if Elena is going to choose Damon, I want that to be real. Because he wants that so much. So, I hated that moment for him at the prom, though, because I think deep down, it was like his darkest kind of, fear came true, basically. So that was kind of sad. Now, with Stefan, you know, she has this dance with him. And hello, Stefan was like in seduction mode. And I was like, go Stefan. It's very nice. And there was this moment, you know, while Stefan was doing his whole seduction dance, where you really saw this look in Elena's face, like you got that she was really feeling something. Now, in the end, of course, she denies that with him as well, but I felt like the actions spoke a little louder than her words did. And we also see that Damon is watching, and he's not so happy with what he kind of sees going on. Because obviously, you know, Stefan's been telling him, like, once we kind of deal with the Elena situation, I'm leaving because I can't do this anymore. So let's talk about Bonnie, right? She was so awesome in this episode, you guys. I mean, she was just completely badass. And I'm excited to see lots and lots of Bonnie in this episode. I hope that's something that continues, people. So this episode starts with her having a dream about Jeremy. And eventually she sees Jeremy, like, at the prom, like, in the flesh, and they dance out in the woods, and it's all beautiful. But already we get that it's Silas. That Silas is playing with her head. He's trying to get her to kind of finish the spell for him. But like I said, Bonnie's a bit of a badass, so she was definitely not having any of it. You know, like by the end of it, she was able to kind of kick him out of her head. And we don't really know if he's telling the truth or not. You know, like I think Shane and he kind of really manipulated her because they want what they want. They want her to do this spell. So they keep telling her, I'm the only one that can help you control your magic. You need me type of thing. And I don't know. I think Bonnie is maybe getting to the point where she's starting to realize that she's got power of her own, that she can control her own magic, and that she doesn't really need anybody's help. So yeah, I'm hoping that's true, because obviously we know that expression killed Shane's wife, but, you know, we don't want that to happen to Bonnie. Now, as the episode progresses, and as Elena realizes that Bonnie is seeing Silas, you know, she starts to get a little afraid, because for her, you know, everybody coming back, you know, that means Jeremy's coming back, that means Alaric's coming back, and that's a no-no for her. She decides, like, if they come back, they're gonna make me turn my humanity back on, and I don't want that, so basically I need to kill Bonnie so that doesn't happen. So she tries to kill Bonnie, like, several times, and it's just like, Bonnie was completely badass. I loved that. The first time, you know, she just gave her that look and it was like, ah, my head hurts, you know, type of thing. And then later in the episode, Elena tries to sneak up on Bonnie again. She bites her, and it was so cool, right? Because you see Bonnie get up and you see her wound like heal. And then you see Elena like reacting to this blood, like not in a good way, and she's spitting it out. And then Bonnie's giving her that like look again, and you see Elena's like blood coming out of her nose. It was awesome. But then Damon and Stefan show up, and they're like, Bonnie, don't kill her, Bonnie. And, you know, Elena's kind of begging as well. And so Bonnie stops, and that's when the boys realize, okay, this is not going to work. We need to go to plan B, which is we lock her up downstairs in the basement until we figure out what to do. And so, you know, they inject her with vervain, I'm assuming, to weaken her, and they take her to the basement. The other thing, too, is I think it was Damon that noted that, you know, at that moment when it seemed like Bonnie was going to kill her, Elena had this fear in her eyes, you know, and that was when the boys were like, fear is an emotion, so if that's something we can bring out of her, then that might be a way for us to help her turn her humanity back on. Now let's talk about the Michelson family for just a moment. Elijah was in this episode. Yay! He's back in Mystic Falls. He's got the cure with him, and it seems at the beginning like he's kind of listening to both sides of the story. So he's got Rebecca at one end telling him why she wants to take the cure and be human, and at the same time he's got Klaus telling him why he wants to take the cure so Silas will not drive him crazy for the next, you know, 1,000 years. In the end, it seems like Elijah is telling Rebecca, okay, I'm gonna give you the cure. But Elijah kind of throws a challenge Rebecca's way and tells her, okay, if you want the cure, I'm gonna need you to live one day as a human. Today, basically, I'm gonna need you to not use any of your vampire powers, live today as a human, and then if you still want the cure after that, I will give it to you. So Rebecca actually does kind of well with the challenge. And I think throughout the day what happens is that Rebecca starts to see how awful she's been to people and how awful she's been as a vampire. And at one point she even like corners Matt to ask him, do you think I would make a good human? And Matt is just pretty much like, no. Like, I don't. Like, I've never seen you do anything good. I've only seen you do evil things. And I think it was her starting to kind of see the kind of path of destruction that she's laid, and so that was kind of sad. In the end, though, Silas tricks them all with the help of Klaus. We see Elijah giving Rebecca the cure, or at least we think it's Rebecca, and in the end, it turns out that it was Silas. So Silas has everything he needs, minus Bonnie. And so I've got to believe that he's got a plan to somehow manipulate her into helping him do this spell. We do kind of see his face at the end too, like Bonnie goes to see him at the very end of the episode and he's hiding in the shadows, but he is himself, you know, and we also get from him that Ketsia did something to him to make him look awful, to like scar his face. As punishment, and we see just a glimpse of him as he comes out of the shadows, and it was kind of spooky. So okay, one really cool surprise from this episode was Tyler. You get that Caroline's having kind of like a crappy prom experience, mostly because he's not there, because she wants him to be there. So she heads off back to his house to kind of plan for the after party, and he was there, and it was really cool, and they got to dance, and it was really cool. It was just so sweet that he was there, and I wasn't expecting it. And Caroline got her prom moment, so I was really happy for her. Now, at the end of the episode, something cool happened. We kind of got the first glimpse of the originals episode, of kind of the back-end pilot of that new show. Klaus goes back home to find this note that Catherine leaves him. And in the note, she tells him about a witch named Jane Ann Devereaux who lives in New Orleans who's plotting against him. So we get that Klaus will be making his way to New Orleans to kind of figure out what's going on. The previews for that episode look absolutely awesome, and I've heard Julie Plec talking about that episode on Twitter as well, and so I'm very excited to kind of get a feel for what they're going to do with the spin-off, so that should be very, very interesting. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out my review of the last episode of The Vampire Diaries, you can go ahead and click the video link here. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye!